What's up, guys? Today's video I think is going to be a pretty cool one. I have come to meet a friend of mine, a friend I've known for a long time, somebody I used to work at McLaren with, and somebody who still works at McLaren now in a pretty cool role there. I'll let him explain what it is. But as part of today's meeting and as part of him telling his story of his time at McLaren, which I think you're going to love anyway, he is going to be giving my skateboard a complete and fairly extreme makeover. Come and meet him. Lusty, how are you, mate? You alright?
Good to see you. You alright?
Yeah, I'm great, man. How are you?
Yeah, very good. Nice one.
There it is.
Board.
Look at that. So, Lusty here and I used to work at McLaren, I mean, years ago. How long have you been at McLaren?
21 years. Yeah.
21 years. Right, I was there for 10. He's still there now. You can probably tell from looking around this place, which is pretty impressive, mate, I've got to say.
Thanks, mate.
Very McLaren-esque.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's all ingrained into me, so...
What Lusty does is paint the cars and airbrush the cars. He's an airbrush artist. He's been responsible for some of the best and most iconic liveries that McLaren cars have had over the past few years. I'll let him talk about it a bit more in a minute. But off the back of that, he started doing some private work, things like this, look, crash helmets, and hopefully today, skateboards. Let's have a look around, mate. You show us around.
Yeah.
When does that get fired up?
When I want a bit of music, when it comes up, sometimes get creative.
Oh, look at this.
Yeah. So that's a little mini helmet I painted a few years back with the Vodafone colour scheme.
Yeah, fantastic. Oh, carbon plinth, I like it.
Yeah, it's nice that.
Right then, mate. First of all, I didn't even know your name, or your actual name was, because you've been Lusty to me, I mean, forever.
Yeah.
Where did that come from?
So, obviously, my real name is Lawrence,
Yeah.
so it's an L. But years ago, when the old factory, my shoes were getting ruined, so I put quarter chips in the shoes, which are little like metal, like brogue shoes.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
walking down,
On the heel.
Yeah, on the heel, stop the thing wearing out.
Yeah.
And, anyway, so I used to walk into the building, and it would click, 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 click. All the blokes would turn around because they thought it was a girl. And unfortunately for them, it was me. So my boss, George Langhorne at the time, he's thinking of nicknames because everyone's got a nickname.
Well,
You know.
don't I know it?
Yeah. So so my nickname, he said Lusty. He sounds like a girl. It's Lusty. So that stuck. And everyone called me. I don't mind. Everyone calls me Lusty. Most people don't know my real name. So.
No, well, I've been like that. Most
Yeah.
people don't know my real name either. It's amazing. Everyone's got a nickname. Well, I
Yeah.
quite like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. Right, now, in terms of what you're going to do with the board, I know, just looking around this place and knowing you for so long and seeing what you've done, I know you're going to do an amazing job. You're bloody good at what you do. But you've made a couple of little sketches. You've got a couple of ideas, haven't you?
Yeah, so I was thinking, right, what we're going to do is a skateboard. Let's make it a little bit different from the standard skateboard. Let's kind of personalise it a little bit. So I thought of a little character, so
Okay.
an Elvis character, F1 Elvis, maybe just sort of standing on the board a little bit, sort of coming out the board,
Yeah.
and just a mad, crazy background. Freehand airbrushing, so it all kind of looks soft. And we'll put your little logo on there somewhere as well. We'll airbrush that in a little loose style. We'll see how it goes. Get some vibrant colour into it.
I love it.
So it stands out.
It's going to be unique.
Yes.
All right, well, should we get on with it?
Yep, okie doke.
Awesome.
Cool.
He's a great guy, Lusty, and he has got some amazing stories. Having been at McLaren for so long, you can't help but have some amazing stories, but he's also worked on some of the most iconic Formula One cars that you and I are all familiar with, and particularly at McLaren, some of those liveries that those iconic F1 cars had, Lusty was almost solely responsible for airbrushing them. He's the only airbrush artist at McLaren. He still is. I wish I could draw like that.
Well, it's just, yeah, I mean, I'm changing the style. We can get a bit more. I want to just get a bit of the board in, you see, so
Yeah.
we can have that sort of shooting back. So that's part of it.
It's so good. Just seeing it come together. Tell me how you got involved in, I mean, how do you become an airbrush artist at a Formula One team like that?
Yeah, so I went to art school, I loved art school, and then after being at school I went to art college called Ravensbourne, and I studied illustration and technical illustration, which was more sort of exploded engines, drawings of car parts and that sort of thing. But we learnt to, we did a bit of airbrush work there. I was always interested in the airbrushing, but from doing that sort of discipline, straight lines, rotoring pens, all that sort of thing, I found that I loved the freehand, the more free work.
Yeah.
So I whilst at art school, to earn a bit of extra money, I used to do work for rave promoters.
Okay.
So I started doing flyers. And,
were you a bit of a raver yourself?
I was a little bit of a raver, yeah. So I loved the house music and all that side of things. So I started doing flyers and interiors of clubs, like backdrops and drapes.
Yeah.
Well, once I finished art school, I was still doing the clubs, the nightclubs and all that sort of stuff. And a friend of mine went off to live in an island called Ios in Greece. And he said, you won't believe it, but they're actually, all the clubs are painted, and it's right up your street. You could come out here and work. So I had to think about it, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to go, I'll do it. So I went off to Ios. It was brilliant. It was a brilliant time, and I loved it. I actually, I still, think, wow, that was no stress, no hassle, just pure art, and that just.
Hang on a minute, and then for some weird reason, you decided to give all that up. Come back to the UK.
Yeah, I gave all the sun and everything up, came back to the UK, and started doing graphics for a company.
Yeah.
And then I heard about a job at McLaren.
Yeah.
So.
Were you into Formula One anyway?
I knew who Damon Hill was, and I wasn't sure if they'd take me on. So I went into McLaren for when they started the new West livery.
Yeah.
And I went in and they said, can you airbrush a front wing? So I looked at it and I thought, you want me to airbrush that? Is that it? Not a face, not a piece of artwork, just this beautiful swooping lines.
Which I imagine was pretty simple for you.
Yeah, I thought, it was disciplined but simple. So having done disciplined sort of work as well, it was quite, I thought, well, okay, I'll do it. So I did it. He left me in there. So I said, okay, there's the black, there's the silver, there's the white, everything's there. I just go on. He came back, hey, it's done. I said, oh, I've done that 5 minutes ago. So he's telling me, you've done it. Oh, right. Brilliant. Okay. When can you start? So I was like, all right, I've got the job. He said, yeah. When can you start? I said, oh, okay. We talked about money and stuff, and then I said Monday. I'll start Monday. So there it was. And
so that was 96. You said?
1997.
Okay. So that was you got in just before the beginning of that period of glory days of winning championships with Mika.
Yeah. Absolutely fantastic time.
Great time to join.
Yeah, it was, and it was. That was when my love of Formula One started.
You and I both know better than most people that the attention to detail that Ron Dennis demanded, and that McLaren's been built on basically.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no more attention to detail has to be paid to the look of the car, and that was. Your responsibility to a large part, wasn't it? Yeah,
well, yeah, if the line was out, it was my fault. So, I had to make sure it was dead perfect.
Yeah.
Ron had an eye, massively detailed eye. It was pretty amazing, really.
Yeah.
It was
Don't we know it?
something else, yeah. So, you didn't get a line wrong, or you know about it. But we never made the mistakes anyway. We just did the best we could.
I mean, I always used to think, because I was never part of the painting process, but the bits that you painted and the bits that you created would turn up in the race bays where me and my mates would all get hold of them and start assembling them into a car. And I've got to say, when I used to get these pieces, the front wings or bits of bodywork come through, and they were airbrushed. I mean, look, where is it? Look at this. This is what you'll all recognise, that iconic West livery. Well, Lusty was, almost entirely responsible for the airbrushing of this. And there are so many different lines, and they were all done by hand, weren't they?
Yeah.
And yet the lines across different sections of bodywork just have to line up perfectly. And of course, being an F1 car, you're forever changing bits, so all the spares all have to line up perfectly. And you know, we talk about Ron Dennis's attention to detail. I'm talking about perfectly, to the micron. And I always used to think that was amazing for something that was airbrushed by hand to such an accurate level. But that's what McLaren does to it.
Yeah, it had to be, everything has to be perfect. I mean, we you know, if you had to jig everything up, line everything up, you know, just to paint a fuel hatch might take an hour and a half just to get that lined up. And the airbrushing went through the fuel hatches.
Yeah, and a fuel hatch is like this big, you know, tiny little thing.
Yeah, so we had to go into car build, upset car build if you want to jig up a fuel hatch. And, it was brilliant, you know.
It's going to stand out, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
I love it. Which was your favourite F1 car? Because you've worked on some of the most iconic designs.
Yeah.
I mean, of modern Formula 1, McLaren were absolute leaders, weren't they, for a while in livery design?
Yeah, so I think my favourite now really was the Vodafone, purely because the chrome was just iconic. West was beautiful, but I think the Vodafone was the standout for me, and then obviously coming up with the chrome paint idea was something that I'm quite proud of. And
so you were a real part of making that happen.
Yeah. So what happened was I painted a crash helmet in some chrome paint I got from the States.
Yeah.
And I really thought it's quite funky kind of colour and effect. So managed to get a meeting with Ron Dennis, with George.
How was that?
So me and George went along with a sample that I painted. And
went to Ron's office?
Yes, yeah. And said we could paint a car on this colour scheme. What do you think of this colour? And he was, where did you get that from?
That's what Ron said.
Yeah, where did we get it? And so I said, I've been doing a crap, thinking I'll get in trouble for doing some other work. But it's only, it keeps me creative. He said, no, look, don't worry about that. Where did you get it from? I said, I've got it in America. I ordered it from the States, this company. And he said, I want it on my car. And I said, well, you know, it's a big area car. This is just a small crash helmet. So he said, no, I want that. So I said, okay, well, it's in America, the stuff. So he said, right, go there. So he sent me to California for a week.
For a week?
Yeah, for a week to go and see a paint company. And so had a good demonstration of the paint products, talked to them about some stuff. We'd come back with another machine that did this water-based chrome, which was really reflective, ultra reflective. Yeah. But initially Ron wanted that on the car, but there were problems with how do you paint a chassis in water with all the electrics and everything else. We moved on to this other paint that I'd been using originally. Yeah. And that's how the original chrome started on the McLaren. Wow.
I mean, it's quite amazing, isn't it, to think. I mean, you and I have both worked with Ron. He's a scary character at times, isn't he? I mean, I have so much respect, as everybody knows.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I think he's an incredible character. One of the most amazing people I've ever worked with. But to be called up to his office, it's quite a scary prospect, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. So you don't know. But if you've got some good ideas and he sees the good ideas, he'll take it on board and appreciate it.
And it is still now one of the most iconic liveries, I think, when you think back. I mean, particularly because it came for us at McLaren through one of our, a successful period, but also a pretty controversial period.
Yeah.
It's a pretty memorable time, wasn't it? 2007, 2008. You know, we won the championship with Lewis in those colours.
The Fernando Lewis battles.
Exactly.
It was a fantastic time. I remember it well.
I mean, someone should write a book about that.
They should do, shouldn't they?
So when you're doing those airbrushed techniques, say the West car, you paint a base colour, and then it comes to you to do the creative bit?
The base colours will be put on. So then I'll take the panels, airbrush in exactly where the lines would be for the car, and mark it all out with templates that I made so that it's perfectly dotted out.
Yeah. and what is that? You lay a template over the car?
Yeah, well, in sections, so small areas. So I'd also use a nose box I painted before to jig up the lines, or a chassis. We had a chassis jig made. Yeah. So we have lots of components we can make every line match up perfect.
Yeah.
And then then I'd airbrush away. You know, I could be doing. These are the days when we had test team, race team, demo team.
Yeah.
There were like six or seven cars out there that were all running at shows or doing demos or doing test days. I mean, testing would last. The race would end and go testing.
I know.
And
Tell
it
me
was
about
just
it.
work. Well, I wondered how we did it, to be honest. Test teams, race team, demo.
I'll tell you what part of it was, there was no such thing as health and safety.
Yeah,
So we could work.
we could just get on with it.
You just work until it's done, don't you?
Yeah, of course.
Well, I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. It's looking so good. I've got to go, but I'm going to leave it with you. And I mean, I'm really looking forward to coming back and getting the reveal. So you reckon the next couple of days we should be good to go?
Monday, something like that.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
I can't wait.
Matte finish, so that'd be lovely. Yeah, done.
It's looking awesome. Mate, thank you so much.
No worries,
I
it's good to see you,
can't wait
mate.
to see the result. I'm not sure we'll catch up.